Now, do you consider yourself a music producer?
Yeah, I do, because actually I'm in the studio with artists and, recreating the vibes and shit like that. Actually sometimes I walk them through it and tell them, go do this or go do that. And yeah, actually, like I said, I walk them through the song. I help create the song. I'm not just a nigga just sending beats through the email or to their phone or shit like that. We actually get in the studio and we work on the record together. So yeah, I do actually consider myself a producer. I feel like that's a beat maker, is a nigga that's just sitting in this room just making beats and sending them off. Nothing is wrong with that. That's cool. But I like to be in the studio with the artists as well, though. That's just me, though.
Now, from the very beginning, did it start out as beat making and then this transition to more of a music producer, or were you a music producer from the jump?
Uh, Nah, I guess you couldn't say I was a producer from the jump, but because I feel like it was a learning curve. So at first I was just making beats in my room, and then as I got more deep into it, I guess you can say I became a producer. But like I said, I know that's always something I wanted to do anyway, because I like to get up and move around anyways. I don't like to just sit in one spot anyway. You know, I don't want to just sit in my fucking room and make beats all day.
But just for clarification, you would consider yourself a beat maker at first and then transitioned into a music producer.
I guess you could say that, yeah.
Okay, now, at what point does it transition into more of the opinionated dealings with a recording artist? At what point does it go from just making those beats to being in a vibe or in a zone and dictating or suggesting or whatever the correct verbiage is here that anyone can insert, if I'm butchering this, where it does become that transition there?
Like, what do you mean specifically?
Like, what led to you just making beats to actually being in the studio and saying, hey, let's do this, let's move this, let's say it like this, that sort of thing?
Because I got a personal relationship with some of my artists. We actually get in the studio together and we work on records. But yeah, we just get, like I said, we get in the studio and we actually work on the record together. And that's what I'd rather do anyways. I don't mind telling a nigga, hey, come to the studio. I got this beat for you. I want you to jump on. You know, like I know who to call in for certain beats type shit. I got certain artists for certain beats.
Now, as far as being considered a music producer, is that just the phrase, or does it get any more specific than that for you? Like a particular type of music producer?
Uh, I mean, well, I guess you could say some people kind of, box themselves in one lane, but I feel like, I mean, you can call me a trap producer, but eventually, sometime later on, I do want to start doing, R&B type shit like that. But, I mean, I can do it now if I really wanted to, but right now I'm just focused on the trap lane. But, I like R&B music though too as well.